Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream or video or whatever that comes to your head or mind from Keobastein, your fighting game connoisseur. It has definitely been some time since my last upload in regards to you hearing my lovely voice. Hopefully, it is not ear bleeding this time around. But without further ado, let me give you an update on me. So, I mentioned in my last video that I was maybe somewhat interested in Street Fighter 6 due to Aki. And while that hasn't necessarily changed, I also have not grabbed Aki from Street Fighter 6 or even really played Street Fighter 6. I am still not really interested in Street Fighter 6 entirely, and I'm basically still reevaluating, do I even want to invest any more time into a product that I have very low attachment towards. But on top of that, there's been complaints about Street Fighter 6 having input issues, or rather accuracy. Now technically this is nothing particularly new in Street Fighter, since Street Fighter 5 apparently had the same issue. However, that was more in regards to we had to get around, or rather micromanage the game's buffer window and shortcuts. Street Fighter 5 had a lot of input shortcuts that made it very difficult to do what you want on command. What seems to be happening with Street Fighter 6 this time around is just the game not actually registering inputs entirely. And I do believe this is actually a factual thing. I don't think it's a placebo for people who've been playing the game. I've had experience playing Street Fighter 6 that there are times I felt inputs didn't feel quite, let's say, didn't feel like they were being registered accurately, and I'm playing on a hitbox, so that should give you some context to maybe how, let's say, finicky Street Fighter 6 input system is when I'm using a hitbox and playing a charged character, and I feel my inputs are also not being registered. I will admit there are definitely still a possibility of user error, but many people are sharing the sentiment to the point where it is a talking point. And now apparently I just learned that Mortal Kombat 1 also seems to have this issue. And actually, speaking of Mortal Kombat 1, I also have not grabbed it because it is actually pretty inferior product in my opinion. I know a lot of people are now talking about it and raving about it, but it seems to be that's more of a symptom of people were so disappointed with Mortal Kombat 11, not present party included. I liked it Mortal Kombat 11 for what it was. That the fact that Mortal Kombat 1 seems to, let's say, be closer to Mortal Kombat 9 and 10, people are basically just praising it for like, oh, it's not like Mortal Kombat 11, so we adore it, but still not judging the product based off, well, how's the product itself. And for me in that position, I don't like the product itself. My first personal issue is the fact that it does one of my personal cardinal sins as a competitive game and locking out cameos in the in-game system. There's far too much progression involved to get yourself to even somewhat of a competitive standard. Now, this practice is not technically new, but it is an aggravation that I seldomly appreciate. But in Mortal Kombat 1, it seems to have gotten worse, where the cameo is the new system that is promoting MK1 as this is the thing to get excited for. And the fact that I think maybe 6 plus are a lot behind doing a tedious grind, which even right now after almost a month, people say to get one, not only the cameo systems a lot, but also Shane Song and Habit, ironically 2 characters I'm actually the most interested in, to unlock them if you get the base game and not pre-order it. People say it is going to be a slog, maybe up to maybe 7+ hours, even if you know everything what you're doing and have very little short roadblocks. And that is just not something I'm willing to do. I'm sorry, that's not something I am interested in doing. And I do consider that a cardinal sin, because a competitive game should not be roadblocking you from major mechanics to interact with the game. I don't exactly consider, let's say, additional features like additional characters to be major mechanics, because at least that's one matchup that's like, okay, I don't know what this matchup is. You can still, in fact, you can still gauge how the how a matchup can be played by watching other people play it and whatnot. But Cameo is basically the game's primary system mechanic, and the game is saying, hey, we're going to lock out some system mechanics. System mechanics. So you have to. So you are playing at disadvantage. I cannot go out and purchase Mortal Kombat 1, immediately put the game in, and go online and start basically competing because I am at disadvantage because I either don't have the cameos unlocked, or I don't even have the characters I like unlocked. Well, fine, they don't use characters, but cameos. But I'm beating a dead horse. Another game that did do this was Fighting ES Lair, where they got that free mode, so that free version of the mode, or I think it was free version, or like a, let's say, cheaper version of the game, where they're like, hey, we'll give you most of the cast, but we'll lock one character out, which that's fine. But the groove system that it has, which is called the Ogies, yeah, we're going to only give you 2 of them. 3 are going to be rotated, and the other 8 are just, and the other 6 are just, not 6, the rest are just locked until you buy the full version of the game, which I also hated that practice because the Ogi system is once again a primary mechanic of Fighting ES Layer's gameplay, and locking that behind behind either a paywall or something you need to unlock, I am just once again not a fan of it. The closest game I could say that did the practice that I was willing to deal with it would have been Final Fantasy Dissidia, as well as let's say ARMS for the most part. And even though those games did it, and I can still say I'm not quite fond of it, I did tolerate it because in, let's say, Final Fantasy Dissidia NT, it was your character's HP attack and whatnot. Apparently in that game, characters get 3 different type of, let's say, finishing blow moves and whatnot. And when you start off brand new in the game, you only have 1 finishing blow, and there are 2 others you can unlock. However, the game was not balanced around the fact that, like, hey, you need to unlock the other finishing blow for your character to be complete. It was more of a matter of preference. Do you want this finishing blow, or do you want that finishing blow, or that other blow? And obviously some did have more conveniences over others, but it was just that one part of the game, while at least the other 90% of your character tool set was basically available. The only thing you were unlocking were the items, and the items are like supplementary things that help, but also would dare say not that effective. Not necessarily effective. They didn't affect the game that much. And then the other game that basically had to unlock stuff was ARMS. And once again, I actually said the ARMS are a very pivotal mechanic, and I did not like that you had to unlock stuff. However, the unlock process was, if anything, streamlined. Like, after 1 or 2 matches, it was able for you to unlock another ARMS for your character and whatnot. It was just a tedious. It didn't take a lot of effort, but it was a tedious. And even then, Nintendo finally got smart where near the game ends lifespan, they say, hey, here's a code for tournament people to unlock all the ARMS right from the get-go. But then, with outside of that, you had to unlock it for your single-player mode, which still gave people their progression. Fair enough. Not a fan, but I do understand. I'm not going to say it's an outright bad practice or anything like that, because people do want their progressions in their games. Fair enough. I feel it should not be the priority in a competitive game, but fine is fine. But yeah, that's why I have not tapped into Mortal Kombat 1, since it's both having the practice of locking a lot of things behind a tedious grind, and then even that game itself is having input issues. So yeah. So what have I been playing? Well, let me actually take a moment to look at my Steam category. Like, look at my Steam and what Steam says I've been playing a lot. If I can bring it up. Why isn't it coming up? What is going on, Steam? Wow, this is not fun. Give me a second. I'm having some challenges with my Steam. And I am still having challenges with Steam. How pleasant. Okay, never mind. Steam just won't show up for me, and that's not fun. Actually, that's really going to annoy me for a minute. All right, fine. I'll just go off memory. I believe one game I have been playing more or less extensively, or at least been diving into. I actually played a little bit of Blade Arceus because some people were playing that. But then there's also can't remember off the top of my head. Oh wow, that's actually gonna be annoying for a bit. Why are you not sure? Anyway, so the games I've been playing, let's see. I am looking at my current list of games right now, and I think the thing I've been more or less attending to has been Switch. Oh, there you go, Battle for the Grid. So I have popped up Battle for the Grid from time to time since I felt like re-exploring that game for a bit. It has been a while, and Samurai Showdown. Yes, actually, there you go, Samurai Showdown. I have been playing Samurai Showdown since now SNK has finally dropped down the third beta, which I can say right now is a vast improvement on a few categories. One, particle effects are not coming up so weird. At least I can say that much. And besides that, matches can actually finish. I got a chance to play with one of my friends for a good period of time, and I am starting to see why they say Wu is bottom tier. At least I could see that. I do feel she's not bottom tier because she's just a terrible character, but she is bottom tier because she is hard, and by hard, like one thing that is a thriving theme, a consistent gameplay, even at lower level of Samurai Showdown, is the block punish game. You block your opponent's attack, and then you do particular punish. For Wu, that is very difficult because she just has short normals in general, and the moves that she does have that can be punished, let's say her dashing kick attack, you have to be able to block and then immediately do like a micro dash attack into her kick, and that is very tricky to do, especially in an online field, I would say. And then while I do say she has a lot of options to stop opponent, so many of them are situational to where this will be a good anti-air at this point in time, but once it's beyond that point in time, it's no longer a good anti-air and whatnot. Or this move is a good combo starter at this point in time, but then it stops. There is very, very little consistency that Rue has to fall back on. Like, she doesn't have a layer 1 that you can fall back on because of the fact that so many of her tools are very situational to even, let's dare say, finicky and whatnot. Probably right now for offense, probably the best thing you could, not even best, one offense move you can do pretty consistently is her crouching heavy, since it can't be parried. It does do respectable guard damage, and it puts your opponent far back that she's not technically safe, but she at least can't be punished as hard for the most part. But then beyond that, the only thing she can technically do is her trap. Everything else is very subject to where the opponent position is and at what state and time and whatnot. Like, she does have projectiles, but she definitely doesn't want to use her projectile when up close. While there are definitely some characters who still feel okay using projectiles up close. Like, I think Junpei has no problem using his projectile even the opponent's in her face. While Wu is like, oh, they're in my face? Okay, don't use projectile. And even mid-screen and even then, she definitely has one challenge where, actually, fair amount of characters do have the ability to either deal with her zoning or reflect her zoning, and she's not proficient at back and forth fireball play. I would almost say maybe she's good at deleting projectiles, but if she throws a projectile then a reflector, it is a much scarier situation for Wu, I would personally say. But that's my opinion. That is only me with my little training with her and whatnot. There's still my own issues of me as a player. Okay, how quick I am to recognize and whatnot. There you go. Starting offensive with Wu is really difficult, even for a game as simple as Samurai Showdown. But yes, that's one game I've been playing. The other game has been Under Night Embers. I've been trying to play Enkidu for a bit. I am definitely feeling his gameplay, especially with his combo routes being hella simple, thank God, because while I definitely do like Yuzuriha, and the fact that she can just do command is simple enough to grasp, but to actually do the proper good routing is another story. And that I am definitely still have issue of falling back on just muscle memory or autopiloting certain things and whatnot. But it is still good fun playing Under Night Embers and whatnot. So speaking of Under Night Embers or even fighting games, I remember I kept saying that I'm like having grappler syndrome, or I'm having that crisis of like, I don't think I really want to play with grapplers. I am now coming to terms like, okay, you know what? Grapplers might be the way for me to go. Or rather, I am more of a either footsie / whip punish runaway character, or how about this? I first like my bully character. I think that's what they call a bully tank. I can't really tell the difference. I think they basically are the same. I like the characters who can stand still and just have very good immediate presence buttons. I think that is what people would say Sagat was essentially. But since I don't play Street Fighter, I don't even really play Sagat, I won't really use them. I do think E Honda kind of plays that well, and maybe even Goiken from Ultra Street Fighter 4. But if not them, let me bring up an obscure game, Battle Fantasia. I really do like playing Deathbringer from Battle Fantasia, who kind of sort of does that. I do think actually Robokai from Guilty Gear also does that. His buttons are actually pretty good, I think. I don't think they're terrible. I think their buttons are pretty darn good and whatnot. There's once again Matsuma from King of Fighters, but I'm actually now starting to play with King of Dinosaurs, and they're definitely, I'm starting to feel them now. And even now, even though I'm kind of like, I have enough muscle memory with Yuzuriha and Under Night Ember to I can kind of like fall back on habits just to play her. But I am now, well, there's Sugarugi from Uni 2, Under Night Ember 2. Sugarugi has a shield mechanic, which I am looking forward to seeing if that's another somewhat wall type of character. But otherwise, besides that, I am now starting to consider, you know what? Maybe I will pick up Wallstein. I'm starting to think maybe I really should just go ahead and pick up Wallstein. Wallstein. And the reason I'm really leaning towards more grapplers, aside the fact that they do have, you know, pretty good strike and throw, which mostly leaning more towards throw. The thing I keep thinking about grapplers was, well, hey, grapplers are I at least thought they were technically a mix-up character that was more so trying to mix up people. But there's another attribute I keep forgetting that grapplers have. Not always present, but usually there. One, they have a lot of health, so that means mistakes don't hurt as much in certain games. But then also, they also tend to have the best reversal in the form of the command grab. Like, one of the things that made Potemkin still a threat, even when he's been nerfed in Guilty Gear Accent Court and Edserd, is, instant block, and you did something that was, and you tried to do something that was 5 frames or more, cool, here's the Potemkin Buster for you. And because people want to get away from that Potemkin Buster, that means I could one, it gives me a simple layer 1 solution. Are they hella negative? Okay, are they basically negative? Sorry, are they negative enough to be command grab punishable? Okay, do the command grab. Are they even more recovery? Cool. Now maybe I could try to go for a particular type of combo. And even besides that, because most higher level people will be more conscious of the command grab, that means they're going to basically be more at first to just coming into my face. And that basically gives me the same tools of the bully character. Hey, I got this immediate presence that I can cover, they'll come in this area or get bullied, and grapplers basically can do that as well with their command grab. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I do need to look at command grab characters some more, grappler characters some more, and whatnot. And one of these that also came up because, all right, Power Ranger Battle for the Grid, as I said, I've been playing that. So my usual team has been Daishi and Anubis Kruger. I'm very happy with them, but I always had a hard time finding a third character to add to that team. I think the first person I did use was actually, what's his name? Oh, Eric Meyer, aka the Quantum Red Ranger. And you know, I still like him. He's very fun. He has tools I like. He wasn't a good fit on the current team I have, so I dropped him. Then I tried Sinzoic Ranger. Also wasn't pretty good. So not good, but rather wasn't a good fit. I dropped him. I eventually found myself landing on Ryu because he was around balance. I got my Daishi, who's kind of my aggressive character, get in there, be aggressive and whatnot. I got my Anubis Kruger, who's a good, you know, if anything, both anchor as well as the zoner. Pretty good at zoning, if anything, or at least footsie. There you go. He's good at footsies. He's very good at footsie with some long range capability. But I eventually now try. You know what? Let me try Dragon Trini, because I did need. Because one thing I do a lot in Battle for the Grid, I like to use my grabs as my punish a lot, like to just punish people a lot. And when I found that Dragon Trini, while she has a slower grab, it is armor. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of neat. And she also does have a pretty good bully tool in her being. And I'm like, you know what? Let me give her a shot. But then one thing I also noticed was, oh, her buttons are actually pretty freaking good. And you want to know who also has good buttons that I'm actually underestimating? Zangief. In almost every game of Zangief, his crouching light attack or chop attack, that thing is pretty good. Does it give high rewards? No, but it's a great, hey, are you doing something? Here's his chop. Did it block? All right, no problem. Because now I can either do a tick grab, or I can try to reset pressure, or I can just block and see what the heck you do. And it's like, ooh, okay. Command grab characters, grapplers, I'm starting to feel them. I am really kind of starting to consider and feeling them now. So yeah, that is what's that going on. Let's see what else. Any other updates? Phantom Breaker Omnia. I have put a few more updates on the characters Wikipedia, at least to the point where I'm getting at least got 70% of characters overview of, you know, here's what they play like, and here are their pros and cons. I don't have any detailed information on their pages yet. I kind of want to get that down, so at least so when people do at least go in and look at a character, they can at least get an idea of what the character does and whatnot. Unfortunately, it's been taking me a good while to try to get that to a acceptable an acceptable way that I can appreciate and whatnot. But once I get that done, then I can start getting to some of the nitty gritty and some of the data collecting, which is going to still be a long, hard work, but it is something I'm looking forward to. And speaking of Phantom Breaker, I got to finally order me some Phantom Breaker accessories from 86, the Phantom Breaker Omnia shirt and the keychain. So I am looking forward to that when that comes in. Speaking of another thing I got, which now may let me play a few more games, I decided to go ahead and get myself an Aces Rock, and right now it's the third day and I'm enjoying it. It took me a while to get it set up to a point where I'm comfortable with, and I'm still figuring out how to use it, quote unquote, effectively. But I got my Nacho Plus Blaster on it, I got my Virtual Fighter 5 on it, I got my Kohime Imbu on it, and the reason why I definitely wanted these is I'm learning that I am very good. I appreciate grinding a lot. However, boot up a game and then start grinding on some of the games I like, such as game that's on a PC or PS4, it takes a while to kind of get them boot up and ready. And I also like this for when let's say for me, as I said, one of the reasons why I love my quote fighting games to have a rematch function, because after a match I just want to go in immediately, keep going. However, there is actually worthwhile to wait your turn, be in a lobby. Lobbies are, I'm not in a position of, oh, I hate lobbies and waiting for my turn. But I definitely get antsy and hate standing still and whatnot. One thing that has helped leave me that recently is I got my Switch, so my Switch allows me to train. It's not the most ideal way, considering I actually play on a arcade stick / hitbox, but it does allow me to start practicing certain things that I may have trouble with. Okay, this person is punished for doing that. Is this thing actually punishable? I don't remember. I can start grinding that, or I can start making sit-ups, or I can practice my combos, or not like a muscle memory of the combo, but rather, okay, what's the timing for this combo? Okay, this is how the timing works. Oh, it's my turn? All right, cool, go back in. Now, the disadvantage with that, again, I have the Switch for that, and the Switch has my games like Power Rangers, Samurai Showdown, Under Night Ember, Phantom Breaker, and etc., etc. But there are other games that I do play that don't basically have, or basically I have that option, like Kuhemi Imbu. I don't have that on a handheld format. I don't have Arcana Hearts on a handheld format. I don't have Nitro Plus Blaster on a handheld format. Now I do. And I am very much looking forward to now actually engaging with these games because I have that. Other games are going to be included with like Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I had a Vita for that. I love my Vita to play Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That's gone. Now I can actually practice Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I can practice Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and actually Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur because these games shouldn't have that much trouble running on them. In fact, some of my itch.io games, I can now actually play Arcus Chroma or Final Wave, Heat Wave, and start messing around with those games. The other games I actually been interested, like Battle Craze. I think Battle Craze is a very lovely game. Love the aesthetic, love the music, and now I can actually train on that because I got the Aces ROG. So looking forward to that, and you might definitely be seeing me playing some more games that you haven't seen me been playing before. So looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and put this on some, let's say, final thoughts so we don't take up too much time because it's already going to 30 minutes. Things are still going well. I haven't gotten a second job, so there's that. Is it going to allow me to stream more? I am considering streaming a bit more. If I can get a setup that's convenient. That's a convenient. Consistent, if you will. No, actually, yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. I am looking forward. King Fighters 13 beta did drop. I am not sure if I'm going to jump on that immediately. Because I have been playing King Fighters 15. Actually, that's another game I've been playing. King Fighters 15. I think I already did mention that technically. Cause my King of Dinosaur. Well, I am running the team of Elizabeth and Rugal, and I am desperately not trying to trade that up. At least initially, the character I've been in my rotation has not been Billy Kane, and while I somewhat am feeling him, I am contemplating switching him out for King of Dinosaurs, maybe even Rio if I'm really that desperate, I guess, to have a here there you go. The real considering like Rio, he does have parry, which I should definitely love, but he also has a pretty easy offense and just good buttons. He's not trying to open people up. He is just an honest character. Now, I thought he'd be counterproductive because, well, I already got someone Elizabeth who's somewhat like that, but that's not really true. Elizabeth isn't really actually straightforward or even honest in that regard. She's somewhat maybe an awkward footsie character that's good at poking, and that's why I want to adopt with Rio. But Rio is, I can poke you and be a bully or oppressive in that fact. And Rugal is just doing his own thing. He's basically more or less a much more of a zoner with some somewhat okay poke. So I thought Rio being in there wouldn't be good, but I also need a character who has high damage output, and Rugal technically does that if he gets a good punish opener, but he's not going in and doing big damage off his light attacks. He's not capable of that and whatnot. So that's why Rio, he does just hit like a truck no matter how he opens you up. So that's good. So I'm considering that, if anything. But yeah, actually, no, we're going to wrap this up because we're going to 30 minutes. All right. Thank you for joining me and have a great day, everyone.